Right, get on this. That is Vernon Kay. You know, I'm a celebrity.
Oh, blimey!
Family fortunes.
Name a type of bean.
And other stuff.
I'm sweating like nobody's business, stood next to blokes in tiny, tiny trunks thinking, whatever you do, don't look down.
He's trolling a health and safety company. In fact, this guy.
Move the pallet, stand on the corner, unlock the knees, and there.
Now you might be wondering, how does that happen? Well, Harold's our client, and about 12 months ago, Amy, his partner, convinced him that trusting us with his business content would be a good idea. They run a health and safety company. And I know, health and safety, boring, right?
Life or burn, take your pick.
Well, not these two. Their training is legit. Fake blood, real scenarios, all delivered by ex-military trainers. So they didn't need help with the product, and they were doing alright with their content too. They had a YouTube channel, socials were pretty active, but they didn't want to be alright, they wanted to be number one. Amy was part of our grafter community, so she knew that we'd built and sold our own e-learning company. So she was sold. Harold, on the other hand, needed some convincing. They'd already invested in a videographer and they were putting out regular content. But like all sensible men, he listened to his partner, and from that point on, Harold was pretty open to anything we suggested. Their transformation started with consultation. We looked at everything they were doing and recommended some things they could actually stop, like their vlogs. The cat vlogs they were doing were lovely, but not so great for their YouTube channel. Because if you're running a business channel, you've got to imagine your client landing there for the first time. If the first video they see is a cat vlog, they're not going to know who you are or how you can help them. So the cats had to go, and we came up with a new plan to restructure their channel. We used formats from the content creator space rather than boring health and safety stuff, because even with a serious topic like health and safety, you want to be able to entertain people if you're going to expect them to stick around and watch. So we had fun. We made some react videos. And we told some stories.
When a colleague removed the support arm, leaving the tipped bed supported only by the hydraulic system.
Because when we met Harold, it was clear this is a guy with a lot of life experience. And when Harold tells a story, everybody leans in. You want to listen to what he's got to say. So the worst thing we could have done is got Harold to stand there reading boring health and safety legislation. This video we made for them is the perfect example of that. It's Harold telling a really personal story from his military days, and it was actually what inspired him to get involved in health and safety in the first place, in particular mental health training. You can see when you watch this isn't SEO style blog stuff that anybody could churn out. This is a personal story to Harold, and it means something. So when you watch it, you feel it. So please, if you take one thing from this, personalize your content. Another thing we did was bring in the wider team. Now that did two things. It allowed us to show off the funny, talented people that the guys work with, but also it helped position them as not just a founder-led small business. Once the videos were recorded, we applied everything we know about YouTube. Design work, titles, descriptions, optimized SEO. And it worked, the channel really took off. But even better, when they started sharing that on platforms like LinkedIn, people loved it. They got loads of comments, proper engagement and reshares, and Harold even got recognised at a health and safety event. But the best bit was bigger contracts started to land, because the business had always been brilliant, but now people were seeing it in their feed. And look, B2B selling is different to B2C. Nobody watches a piece of health and safety content, whacks out their credit card and shouts, "I'll take it!" You've got to play the long game. Put out the best content in your sector. Be memorable and be generous with your advice. And then, when your client's finally ready to buy, you're the one they're going to think of. The only downside is you might get trolled by a northern celebrity. But we reckon Vernon's got no chance anyway. Harold and Amy became friends of the studio because when you've helped a business like that, it's impossible not to feel proud of their achievements and the content we've created together. If you want to dominate your sector, this is a proper blueprint to follow, but it's not copy and paste. You can't just steal and copy what they did and expect the same result. That's why all video content needs to start with a plan. What do you want to achieve? Then work backwards. So build a plan around your strengths, your business, and what makes you different. And here's the man himself with a few words of what it was like actually working with us.
I've had so many messages of how good the content is. Not just the content, our inquiries have doubled and tripled. If you're thinking about looking at marketing or you need your social media to be better, then just go to GNG and I guarantee you, you will definitely come away happy.